Good evening. Sorry about the noise if you can hear that, the generator going right now. That's why I have a light. And my little heater right here. And then got the fire going, but I've only got like 2 pieces in there, 2 pieces there. I got another round log on the other side of the screen, and I'll have to cut the branch things off this one. It fits in the fireplace, but I'm trying to get everything done the best I can. Just sorry, Tootsie Roll. Between dealing with the cold and my back's just telling me, you know, hey, you suck, dude. Yeah. It's only like 7:30. I've had the fire going for about an hour and a half. And already I only got like maybe, as long as it continues to, you know, at least burn like it is. It's still warming up the house. I'll have a couple hours of some heat coming off that to help warm the room up. Sorry, I'm eating my Tootsie Roll. But no, it's gonna get down to like 16, 17 degrees tonight. We're usually like a couple degrees colder than in town. So, excitement right there. And then I decided to say fuck it and went ahead and I don't know what you call it, but contacted the power company to go ahead and get some electrical services going here, at least temporarily, till this place sells. Trying to keep positive. I'm still having my low moments because I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with this anymore. And not being prepared for this type of weather again. Because each year during winter it gets harder and harder because my body can only do so much. It's gotten harder on mostly on my back. And then from there it starts fucking with my shoulders and my hips and my legs. And it's a battle every single fucking winter. So I just, yeah, said fuck it. I'm gonna get at least the lights on so I'm not having to worry about having gas in a generator. I don't have a bunch of crap here for lighting and all that stuff. I got that. Well, I lied. I've got that. You know, the ceiling lights and stuff. I don't have a bunch of shit here to run the electricity up. I'm gonna have to try and get my hands on a bigger space heater though, so that I can at least get it warmer here. And then having the electricity going, I'll have some running water again. You know, that way I'm just trying to, even though I'm a stubborn pain in the ass, I'm trying not to make things too much harder. It's just, you know, weighing out sacrifices basically, you know. Like, do I say fuck it and just sacrifice more on electric bill, because for all I know I might have to just turn it right back off in a week, 2 weeks, a month. Well, if somebody goes to buy it, it's probably gonna take like 30 days for all that shit to finish and go through. But once I have an actual buyer and they stick to buying, then once I know that, I'll know that I can basically start planning on, you know, I didn't bring a whole lot of anything. I brought what I could load in the truck behind the seat, which it's an extended cab. There would have been, I would think there would be like the little seats that fold down from the sides, you know, like if there was a door there but no door, the little back seat things, but no, it's a good size open space there. And so, you know, it's enough to put the bedding in and what few things I brought. Excuse me. No, I'm just hoping they can, in all honesty, I'm just hoping the electricity kicks on before it too long. It should be a couple hours or something, but it said it might take up to a couple days, so we'll just see what happens. Because tonight it's gonna get its coldest right now, and then it's gonna start warming up a little bit for the next week. Thankfully, things changed on the little weather thing, so it's actually gonna get up above, up into the mid to low 50s here next week, and at night it'll be like in the mid 30s. A little more manageable than right now, because like I said, right now tonight it's gonna get down and into the teens. This is just kind of the warm up of winter, I guess you could say. We don't get much of a fall. It's, if you go up to the valley, you'll get a fall. You'll get to experience rain and all that stuff. We still see all the trees change colors and lose their leaves, all that, you know, typical stuff that fall has, but it only lasts like, we get, I think at the most like a month of it, at the very most. But temperature wise, it's already winter temperatures. So, and I've still got like an inch of snow on the roof of my shop. It just hasn't melted away. It hasn't snowed in a few days, but it just hasn't melted away. No, I was happy that last night I had my two little munchkins here, because it got pretty damn cold. It got down to like 21, 22 degrees last night here. And by morning, I mean, that's, yeah. The three of us, my you know, the two dogs and I, just underneath the quilt, just like, fuck, this is cold as fuck. I think I might rearrange a couple of the blankets, because I have one here that's like a pretty heavy blanket and keeps you warm. This gray furry like blanket, Sherpa like blanket, and it's pretty hefty. It's just, I don't want to be here anymore. I really don't. I've been done with this house for a couple years, and it's just mainly because of all the bullshit involved, and between health and financial, I really can't afford it anymore. And I want to be in a position I can finally start getting my life together and start a business, and I think it's time to do that. It's just, I'm in a weird form of like limbo, purgatory type thing, that in between of, I've pretty much done what work I can, and in selling this place, I know I'll have the minimum needed to get another home, and, well, I can do it whether I have a down payment or not. It's just, I'd rather have a down payment, and then have the bare minimum to get to kind of get a, well, not kind of, to get a business going. Because if I have to go for a business loan, I will. I just won't go for something massive because of what I'm looking at trying to start. It's just, in all honesty, I think the part when it comes to business that makes me more nervous about it is yeah, I've it's the responsibility. Like it's intimidating, but I'm not afraid to do it. You know, if that makes sense. I got things that I need to learn on a business standpoint when it comes to like the clerical side of things, as I've said before. But I'm trying to at least try and live some form of, some of the dreams I've had, since I was a kid, and not allow anybody to pretty much keep that from happening. I'm not about keeping others from doing what they want to do with their lives and being able to do the things that they enjoy. I've never been about that. I just think that, two people, it's possible for two people to still follow their dreams without affecting each other and still be together and have a healthy functioning relationship, so you shouldn't have one person shouldn't have to sacrifice their dreams so the other one can chase theirs, regardless where they live. And when it comes to lifestyles, yeah, there's always gonna be compromise. Lord knows I just want to do better in life. I just don't like being in this situation, and yeah, I want to start focusing on getting my health back up again, and maybe try to prolong some of these damages that's going on in my body, and yeah, just all around get healthier. Hopefully find myself in a position I can get rid of these, or get to a point where I'm not chain smoking or fucking, where it's like, yeah, I'll have one after a meal or something. Like on Stand By Me. The best time to have a cigarette is after dinner. Yeah. Like I said, I'm just trying to stay positive with a lot of this stuff. And I just really, all I can do is just keep moving forward and try to learn from all this shit. And kind of helps me like narrow down kind of what I want in life a little more. I mean, granted, for all the young folks out there, some of you, there's a large number of you out there just like in my generation and the generations before me. A lot of people figure out what they want to do in life at a young age, but there's just as many people that struggle with that because it's not necessarily not knowing what they want to do. It more than likely, like myself, is there's too many things we want to do and we don't know how we can, in essence, do them all at once. So it's learning to do things step by step and figuring out how can I still follow these dreams or combine them with, to make one big one, I guess you could say. Even if it's a humble one, it's still your dream. It could be a big extravagant one, it's still your dream. I've never been one. I don't want to be, I always knew since I was a kid I didn't want to be like a leader of anything. I never, like some kids, I never wanted to become a politician or an attorney, or I just don't want to be in a position that I really like even as a business owner, I recognize as a business owner I'm still having some form of, what do you call it, say over somebody's life as an employer. It's just I don't want to have such control over somebody else's life. I don't know how to explain that. I've never wanted to be in a spotlight of anything. I mean, some people might go, well, then why on YouTube? Because I know my channel isn't going to grow massive like these other guys. I'm not a very interesting person. And this is just something that even, like, not just for me to be able to go back and look back on these different experiences and kind of see how I've kind of evolved from some of this bullshit that I've dealt with, not just growing up and all that, but throughout the years. Like how it's I guess you could say, sort of changed me as a person. Yet at the same time, even though my kids and I don't really have that relationship anymore, they can still go back and see videos of their dad. And just, yeah, whether they care about me or not right now, I know what I was like at that age. Yeah, I didn't pull the shit they did. That's for sure. I didn't do that stuff with my parents. I've been a handful with my... I was a handful with my parents. I was a pain in the ass. It's no lie. And I just, you know... I just never treated my parents the way I've been treated by my own kids. And so... I'm having to accept the fact that it's... this generation. Motherfucking Fago. Genuine motherfucking Fago. Cotton candy. Literally tastes like liquid cotton candy. I know this shit's really bad for, like, for me. Like I said, my addictions, my vices, is sadly, it's still bad, is soda, smokes, and cannabis. Even though cannabis I utilized as a medicinal and has been prescribed to me as a medicinal, it's something I've been wanting to move away from. Soda, I need to cut back from. I'm not super fat, but you can tell by my body shape, I'm a soda drinker. It's kind of like a beer gut situation, just love handles and no butt. No. But, anyways, and then smokes, it's obvious. It's not good. But, no, I've just found not just done. I've just been done with all the bullshit. I'm still coping with everything that's gone on. I'm finding that even though there's things about it that hurt, and there's things that I may learn over time that may reopen those wounds a bit, I'm realizing it. I'm able to start turning it more into something that I can learn from. I'm still going to have trust issues for a long time when it comes to people overall, because of a combination of things between the abusive shit I experienced as a child from my own sibling, things I dealt with from my parents here and there, and things that I witnessed, and then same thing with the way my family kind of treated us, you know, between aunts, uncles, cousins, just all that shit. Classmates, co-workers, just all of it. Because of what I went through as a kid, I don't have a trust for males. I'll talk to them, get along, I can be friends with them. My best friend Nate is a male, obviously. It's just, it takes me a while to get to trust guys, and when it comes to females, I've become just as weary in that sense. I find myself realizing if I can't connect with you type thing, I'll still be friends with you, friendly to you, respect you, do that type of stuff, but I will be weary and will keep a distance till I get to know you more. I don't hand my trust out on a silver platter. And I do realize, like, when I do these vids, a lot of times I say a lot of things, but really I ain't saying shit. And it's just basically me, not basically, it's just me rambling on like an idiot. And just kind of trying to cope with daily life between like my Asperger's, my NF2, and just everything going on. I try not to allow the bad things that happen to me in life, and the bad things I've witnessed in life, to lead me into a position of doing those types of things to other people. I don't know how to explain that one. I try not to let it keep me from not being able to love anybody again, or love people in general. I love people. I have a trust issue, and I keep it at somewhat of a distance a little bit. I keep a lot of people at an arm's length for many reasons, and I just listed off some of them. I'm very open to being friends with anybody. I can ramble and shoot the shit and do all that stuff with just about anybody and about just about anything. Sorry, I'm eating a chip. But overall, I tend to keep a fairly private life. Unless you're a friend or family member that I talk to directly, you're not really going to know what's going on unless somebody's either talking shit or doing a go-between. And you're just really, unless you're there. I communicate with my friends. They're very well aware of, things going on. It's just, I don't believe I try not to talk to people in a way that it manipulates or influences someone on how they think of another person. I let them come to that conclusion themselves. And I also am not afraid to be completely open, honest, and basically throw myself under a bus, even when it comes to even like at times there with some of the things that I've done throughout the years, like some of the toxic shit that I've done over the years, like how I react to things at times, which is something I've worked very heavily on the last couple years, especially. I used to not be like this. I didn't have those types of reactions. It took somebody a long time to break me down. Excuse me. And more or less, I dealt with somebody who brought out the worst in me and not the best. And they did so intentionally, so that they could use that as their excuse to claim that I'm something that I'm not, to gain attention from others in one way or another. It was used as a manipulation, not just to control me and quietly abuse the shit out of me, not just use me, but to gain those attentions from other people. Whether it's to use it to get that sympathy or that uplifting type emotional support attention from friends and family. Because I used to watch my mom do this when I was growing up. She'd create an argument between her and my dad. This is just an example, and it's not like it happened a whole bunch, but I've watched her do it, where they'll get in an argument. My mom would be very much the culprit of the argument. She'd want to basically, for example, when it came to going to the store and all that stuff, she'd want to go to the store and be able to spend money frivolously, and then because bills were getting tight or they didn't have a whole lot of money at it, my dad would be like, we can't really afford that type of stuff. So she'd get mad at him and then accuse him of being financially abusive towards her. Oh, it's abuse. He won't let me go to the store. He won't let me shop. And it's like, my mom and my dad have been borderline hoarders. My dad in the sense of trash. He tries to, well, this has got to go in the recycle bin, this has got to go in the trash, and if we end up using more than end up using all the space in here, then this excess I'll just add it to the next can the following week, and you know how that goes. My mom, like, my dad had to like basically block her from having an Amazon account, because she figured out that if she couldn't go to the store and shop, then she's gonna sit and go online and go to Amazon and these other online shopping places to shop at and just start ordering a lot of random shit. And so I'd watch her do this stuff, and then she'd tell the family, basically, and it's not literally that online thing, it was before then. But she would complain and tell everybody that my dad was abusive, he wouldn't let her shop or spend money, that type of thing, that he had to have control of all the finance. My dad would leave the checkbook sitting right there for her to see it, right on the desk. So all she had to do is get up, pick it up, look at it. She would know what was there. She never would. And so she'd go around claiming that he was abusive and all this shit towards her, and it's because she wouldn't stop spending. And so because of his reaction to her shopping addiction, he was getting called abusive, and she'd get some of her family to dislike my dad, and then she would gain sympathy attention for that from her family and some of her friends. Oh, I'm sorry, blah blah blah. She used to do that to me at times. Like, I remember her she would lock me in my room to keep me from leaving, because I'd try to get away from her to go on a walk to get away from the shit, and instead she'd lock me in the room, block me in there, try to keep me from leaving, to gaslight that situation. Then she'd turn around, call the police, and have them come out and pick me up after I'm sitting there trying to get away from her. And then she would claim that I was committing elderly abuse because I was trying to escape from her. I've dealt with narcissistic abuse. Now that I understand what it is and know what it is, I've dealt with it for a long fucking time. I do understand that there are people who are not necessarily narcissistic, but will have narcissistic traits. And then there are people out there who are actual genuine narcs. And I had to learn that difference. We all, to some degree, at some point, depending on the circumstance and situation, we might have a little bit of a narcissist come out in us. But in the overall, it's how you treat your family, your friends, everyone around them, and what they are to you. And the fact that mine was able to use me nearly our entire relationship to get where she is, and sit back and I confront her and be like, yeah, you used me. Well, I wouldn't really put it that way. Well, the moment you say I wouldn't really put it that way, you just admitted you used me throughout the relationship. And so sorry, I listened to the front porch too, because I can't obviously see. I got things covered to help maintain heat and some privacy, but every now and then it sounds like someone's stepping onto the porch here and there. But no, I don't want to go an hour explaining the whole everything that I've dealt with again. I don't really want to go over it. But I've gone through so much of this different shit that I don't hate people. I still love people. It's just I don't like when they do this type of stuff to hurt others for their own personal gain, or to feel better, or to feel superior, that type of stuff. That's what I dislike. It's the sin, not the what is it? It's the sin, not the sinner. I think that's how it goes. Love the sinner, but not the sin. Because they gotta hope that they can, learn from it, and God will do His thing, and you might say your part. But I also understand too that if somebody's not willing to, in essence, listen to that advice, you basically gotta wash your hands from it. It's just like in the Bible, it says it's better to be alone in the desert than to be with an ungrateful woman. That also would apply in the reverse. It'd be better to be alone in the desert than to be with an ungrateful man. So I don't want people to think that that's purely just a sexist verse out of the Bible. It's something that applies in both directions, because both men and women experience the same things. It's just depending on the situation, men tend to be quieter about it because it is embarrassing. And it is humiliating. Most men don't want to come out and be like, yeah, I was abused by a woman. Because people look down on them and be like, whatever. They call them crazy, liars, all that stuff. They're not nothing. Similar to how some women feel when they come out and they're like, I've been getting abused by so-and-so and all that, and they can have all this proof, and people be like, oh, you're full of shit. It goes both ways. It's just people are more apt to believe a woman being abused than a man. Because people are more socially influenced to believing that the only people that can be abusive in any form is a man, and the only ones that are gonna be a victim is a woman. If women are incapable of being evil, we wouldn't have people like Hillary Clinton. We wouldn't have, yeah. Now, women are very much just as capable of a man to commit abuse. They just do it differently, and it's quietly. You know, it's like, I've made this comparison before. A man is more apt to be loud and directly physical, where a woman, it's going to be more psychological, financial. It's kind of like poison. A woman's more likely to use poison to off someone, you know, per se, than they would doing something messy, where a man, it's in the opposite spectrum. That's kind of that's something that yeah, it's just a weird dynamic between male and females, but it's just saying that neither one is incapable of not doing something fucked up to another person, let alone abuse somebody. People have to remember that when it comes to this whole equality thing, one thing is a fact: women can be equally fucked up and abusive as a man. They just do it differently. Anyways, I've just been sitting here rambling about just about anything and everything again, and yet nothing. And munching on, excuse me, some chips. It'd be nice if the house, if I got a message or contacted from realtor that the house, that, you know, got an offer on the house or whatever, but we'll see what happens. It's in God's time. It's not in my time. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.